and I get
Dehydrated?
and I get UTIs.
Oh, yeah.
I had hallucinations.
Oh, yeah, they're
I
terrible.
don't know what I didn't know I had it. You know, I
Yeah.
was just exhausted. Oh my god.
Yeah, they really creep up on you. And this SIBO is similar to like UTI. Like once you get one, you're way more susceptible to like it coming back.
So I don't eat. And I never get thirsty, which is bad about water. Really bad.
I use those liquid IVs, and I use a partial packet, like
Yeah.
1/8 of it, just to flavor my water, and that helps because otherwise I don't drink enough.
I just don't. Sometimes I don't think about things.
Yeah, just
Check
hydrate
microphone.
really
Check, check,
quick.
check, check, check.
Effort.
Do you know
I don't
we
know
have
how we didn't stay.
we have nothing on the agenda. It's all on the consent. They're all here.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Check, check, check.
Agenda?
Planning an alien. No.
Oh, you got time.
Check, 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 check. Okay.
How are you?
Oh yeah.
So which one?
Absolutely.
I'm doing it now. This time.
Okay.
He'll let you know.
Okay.
Does that make it better? Check, 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 check. No. Okay. Check, 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 check. Yeah, it's working now. Yeah. Okay, I'll work on that right now.
That clock is off. Oh yeah, they're here if we need them, but I don't think we will. Jeff and Mary can. They're here to answer questions on the licensing of the weed guys. But Jeff and Mary said they think they could handle it.
Okay. Is everyone ready? Now calling to order a regular meeting of the City Council, Tuesday, August 25th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Councilwoman Rogancy.
Here.
Councilwoman McGee.
Here.
Councilman Dwyer.
Here.
Councilman Noonan.
Here.
Councilman Boyke.
Here.
Councilman Lafferty.
Here.
Councilwoman Moore is present. We have a quorum.
Next item.
Next item is adoption of the consent agenda. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Let's see. Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 5, adoption of the agenda. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Yes, we would like to add as under miscellaneous, item 11A, extension of license for 60 days for Lansing Pros, Inc., located at 22550 Nagel in the city of Warren. As item C, extension of license for 60 days to Kenny Pros LLC at 1978 Kenny in the city of Warren. And as item 11D, extension of license for 60 days to IVP Holdings LLC, located at 1973 East 10 Mile Road in the city of Warren.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is calendar of pending matters. 6A is calendar, motion to receive and file.
Support. That's fine.
Who is, Ms. Moore, you made that motion. Ms. McGee, you did support. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7A, approval of the bills of the general revenue fund. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7B, approval of the bills of the water and sewer system. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is audience participation for agenda items only.
Members of the audience who would like to address City Council this evening may do so by filling out an audience form in the basket there. You have 3 minutes. I will try to give you a 1 minute and a 10-second reminder when your time is near up. This is for agenda items only presently. Ms. Harris, you have an agenda item? You can come up there.
No, I'm okay.
You're okay, you want just general?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ms. Palmer, is the blight specific to an item on the agenda? Okay, so it'll be after. Mr. Cliff?
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome to have your 3 minutes.
Good evening, council members. Tonight, myself and a couple of my colleagues on ZBA are up for reappointment considerations tonight, so I decided to appear on all three of our behalf to advocate for your approval for our continued support to remain on zoning board of appeals. One of our newer members, Mr. Lindsay, over the past couple of years has really shown some fantastic ability when it comes to articulating issues that come before our board on a regular basis. Mr. Watts is pretty well known. He served the community here for many, many years and continues to contribute in a positive manner. And as for myself, you just kind of get what you get, right? But I work real hard at it. I'm a pretty heavy staple in the community. I do a lot of different advocating. And even during some of the recent declines that I've been suffering, I still try to maintain visibility in the community and try to support the city of Warren as best as I can. So that's all I really have to say. I just want to push for your consideration and express my gratitude for the opportunity to serve the residents of the city of Warren. Thank you.
Thank you. Edwin Worley, is your item related to the agenda, anything on the agenda?
No.
Okay, so I'll have you at the very end of the meeting during general audience. Okay, that is the end of audience for agenda items only. Next item.
Next item is 9, announcements. Madam Chair.
Yes.
The City Council would like to extend our sincere condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones of Lori Arts. Lori was an engaged Warren resident until very recently when she moved to, I think, Madison Heights, who cared very deeply about her community. She regularly participated in local civic affairs, spoke openly about issues that mattered to her, and was never afraid to stand firmly by her convictions. She had a voice of passion and commitment to making a difference. She was advocated voting and often was a monitor at the polling at the City Hall and when they were counting the votes, and was a strong, strong advocate for making your voice heard through your votes. We honor her life and the lasting impression she made on those who knew her and on the community she called home for many years. We extend our deepest sympathy to everyone mourning her loss. She hasn't been around as much. She used to be at almost every meeting for a very, very long time, and was really a fixture at our meetings. And we missed her being there, and she underwent a pretty serious operation about a month ago, and she passed away due to complications from that surgery, but she'll be missed. She was a force.
Moment. Thank you. Any other announcements?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Lafferty?
thank you. On Saturday, Ms. McGee, the mayor, Senator Kleinfeld, representing the state delegation, and I attended the Ukrainian Cultural Center's and the New Wave Group, the 35th anniversary of Ukrainian sovereign statehood and independence. And this was hosted by New Wave. It's a group that distinguishes the generations of Ukrainian Americans who moved to the Detroit area following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. In my remarks, I spoke about the Jeffersonian premise of powers granted to the government by the people and compared the parallel of post-independent Ukraine with post-revolutionary America and the ongoing struggle against ongoing Russian aggression. Following the remarks, the audience was treated to a variety of beautiful cultural musical performances. In the audience, I would like to recognize Planning Commissioner Mr. Michael Hadawati on behalf of the Ukrainian community here this evening. We have a significant Ukrainian American community here in Warren, and we are happy and proud to celebrate this moment with you. Slava Ukraini.
Heroam Slava, as we say in Ukraine. Thank you, Councilman.
And then we do have the birthday bash that is coming up this weekend. The carnival begins Thursday, the 27th, and continues through Sunday, August 30th. There is a foam party on Friday and Saturday at the fountain from 5 to 7. Fireworks on Friday at 9:45 p.m. The Polish Day Parade on Saturday that starts at Kuzno. We step off at 4:10 p.m. and end at City Square. The drone show on Saturday at 9:30. And then a variety of music featured throughout the weekend, from rock and soul, Main Street Soul, Stevie Nicks, Magic Bus, the Polish Muslims, Fire Lake, War Machine, and a Detroit Kiss tribute. On Sunday, you can also catch Reputa. I talked about Reputa the Buta a month ago. Unfortunately, that concert was delayed due to the Canadian wildfires. And so they've been rescheduled from earlier in the summer to Sunday at 3 p.m. in front of City Hall. That's where you will find me enjoying some Jay Giles music. If you don't like Jay Giles, if that is not your thing, come anyway. You'll enjoy the concert. And yes, I mentioned the parade. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other announcements?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Boyke?
it's not an announcement, but I just got a text from a resident. The microphone that Cliff's is not working. They couldn't hear him.
We'll let Patrick know. Or Patrick is probably listening, so. Thank you.
That's why I brought it up that way.
Thank you.
Hope he's listening.
Any other announcements? Okay, next item.
Next item is 10A, which was tabled to today at the request of the administration. It's a public hearing, a special land use for Al Shahi Palace Restaurant with banquet facilities located on 12 Mile Road, approximately 140 feet east of Ryan Road, 4235 12 Mile Road, Section 8. Tom Hanawa, Affinity for Investments LLC, Karen M. Birdie of Earl and Rose PLLC. Motion to remove from the table.
Support Lafferty.
I will call the question, remove the item from the table. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's me. I will open up the public hearing. Actually, I'm gonna not open the public hearing. If the petitioner's here, Ms. Birdie, you can speak. Good evening. Karen Birdie, on behalf of Al Shahi Palace Restaurant. My address is 28225 Mound Road in Warren, Michigan. Unfortunately, Earl and Rose is no longer in existence as both my partners passed away. So
I'm now pretty much on my own as Bertie Law. So, in any event, I'm here tonight for the Algérie Palace Restaurant that is located basically at 12 Mile and Shana. Ryan, 12 Mile and Ryan. My mistake. So here's Ryan, and here's 12 Mile. It's important to understand, this shopping center looks like it's one owner. It is not. This is the property line for the owner of the property where my client rents, right here. Some of you may remember it prior to COVID as the China Buffet. So that's right here. So these are the property lines that we have. Currently, next to it is the Ross Medical Center, and they're only open a few days a week. And what they do in the Ross Medical Center is clinicals for a few days a week. Besides that, all of their teachings are online, all of their sessions, etc. So they're only there a couple days a week. And then this is the former CVS, which I think right now this is becoming a small market right now. My client is here with me today, Mr. Mohammed. He's back there in case we need him to answer any questions. At this point, as you know, we're here for special land use, for the accessory use of being able to hold banquets in association with their restaurant. Currently, the restaurant is rather large, and in there they have 2 private rooms. Those rooms only take up 28 square feet of the total square footage of the restaurant. That's why I say it's an accessory use. In addition to that, the revenue right now from those banquet rooms is less than 10% or less at this point. So it is truly an accessory use. Right now, the primary use there is a restaurant, and they want to provide private rooms for their guests to be able to have a birthday party, I don't know, a baby shower, something along those lines. It's important to note that, am I okay? Okay. It's important to note that there is no alcohol at this restaurant. There's no alcohol with any of the banquets that will be at this facility. As we went through planning, we developed with the Planning Commission and the Planning Department a landscaping plan. And in that landscaping plan, we are putting 9 red bud maple trees. Those are the maple trees that look the red hue all through the season, and they don't have helicopters. And then next to those, next to each tree will be 2 dwarf burning bushes. Those are green during the summer, and in the fall, beautiful reds and oranges. And this is going to be planted along the way here, a little bit far back so that maybe as plowing goes on, et cetera, and salt and that, we're a little farther back to make sure that those plantings make it. So basically, that's the full item. This is truly an accessory use. It's not the main use. The banquet capabilities is not the main use. However, we need approval to be able to use those private rooms. If there are any questions, I'm available to answer them.
Thank you. Mr. Worth, is there anything the planning department wants to ask beyond what Ms. Birdie shared? Thank you.
Actually, no, I'm just here to answer any questions planning-wise, but no, we certainly agree with all the negotiations and the landscaping that we worked on, so.
Okay, thank you. All right, so now I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience who wants to speak on this matter? Ms. Harris?
We okay to go ahead?
You're good.
Okay. So I, been looking at this paperwork, And it seems like this started in '24 and in '25, in the spring of '25. And it's taken until '26 to come here. But when I looked through the backup, there were a lot of requirements or suggestions that needed to happen if this was approved for a special land use. And even if we just go back to March of '25 or May 8th of '25, whenever it was, that's more than a year, and nothing has happened. So I went over there today. I looked at just for the restaurant right now, the accessible parking spots were brought up in '24 or '25 that they needed to be moved by the doors on the north side of the building. The access aisle was only 4.4 feet 4 inches, and the parking spaces were 7 feet 10 inches. So that's not even; those aren't even applicable measurements for those handicap spaces. So that restaurant got approved, and nobody from the city went and said, this has to be different. And I'm sure it went through whatever businesses were there, right? But we're dropping the ball constantly. I also noticed in the backup that one of the rooms is almost 3,000 square feet, and the other room is like 1,200 square feet. Now, how do we know they're not already using those rooms? And so I'm just confused about this special land use, if it's just so you can call them banquet rooms. The other things that were mentioned by planning and maybe zoning was that the gas station on the corner had an entrance into the parking lot that's not allowed. That hasn't been changed. Even if you're just gonna stay as a restaurant, why wouldn't you fix those things? The curbs along the sidewalk on 12 Mile Road needed to be moved back 5 feet. So I'm really concerned that they've had a list of these things for at least a year or two of what would need to be different to be approved. And it doesn't appear that anything's actually happened to comply with those requirements. And there were only, if the parking is 189 or some spots, I can't remember the exact number, but they have 4 spots on the north side of the building, nothing in front of the building. In that whole strip, there's also 2 spots on the south side with an access aisle that's going nowhere. So, of course, the owner of the restaurant isn't responsible for that, but the owner of the strip mall should be held accountable to have things be accessible. And there's 2 more little stores that look like they're going in next to the fruit market. And I also called Ross Medical today and talked to them, and they said they have classes there every day, but they do things online. So, thank you.
Anyone else want to speak on this matter? Okay, I will close the public hearing and turn it over to council for action.
Motion to approve with discussion.
Support.
Support, Mr. Noonan. Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through the chair to Ms. Birdie.
Yes.
Good evening. You and I had spoken previous about this location and the number of concerns that I've had with the appearance of the property, both the plot in question and the parcel, the adjacent parcel and the frontage on Ryan Road. I'm happy with the landscaping plan. I will remind Mr. Worth and the Planning Commission that one of my primary concerns is that we go through this process. The petitioners propose a landscape plan. They are required to irrigate, and those irrigation systems may get turned on for the first couple of months. They are turned off, they're never used again, and the foliage, the trees and such wilt away and are subsequently moved. And then we have no recourse. We don't have the staff to go out and validate that, you know, everyone is compliant with their landscape plans. But all in all, I mean, this is going to be a tremendous uplift for this corner. It's needed a lot of TLC. My concern is also the marquee for this building. I know the petitioner came in front of planning not too long ago, and the bollard that supports the sign was repaired, but it seems that the bollard itself, the workmanship was substandard, because the rust is already coming through the white paint. I would like that to be corrected permanently as a condition of, if council decides to approve this evening, I'd like to see that as a condition of the agreement this evening. And then, Ms. Birdie, could you comment on some of the concerns that were raised relative to the accessible parking spots?
Yes.
And the measurements that were cited?
Yes. So part of the problem here is I don't think that, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, the person who spoke.
Ms. Harris?
Ms. Harris. When Ms. Harris spoke, I don't think she fully understands the procedure. When you go before the Planning Commission, there are recommendations that have to be done, but they don't get done until you have your approval. When you have your approval, you then have 2 years to fully comply with what's on the recommendations, because those are adopted as part of the motion. In essence, some of the changes and some of the things that you would make, you wouldn't want to be done unless I had the approval. So this is absolutely a process, and I'm going to defend the planning department right here. They didn't drop the ball on anything. If you ask me, the reason this took me so long to get this through is because they were on top of things. The landscaping plan, I had to go back several times. The plan for the building, she mentioned that the planning department wanted us to make a bigger, greener area. And I went to the landlord, and I asked for that, and I tried to make that happen. The problem I have is when I represent people that are tenants, I don't have a lot of power when there's already a contract in place that is of a long length. But I often try to, if you will, plead to their better side of being a good citizen and actually having a property that people want to rent from, et cetera. So whereas I wasn't able to get the property owner to agree to make the green space bigger, I was able to get him to agree to do the plantings. And my client now is on the hook to guarantee that those plantings go in or his site plan doesn't get approved. So I will say this, that I had to go back several times then because I couldn't get the landlord to do the things that the city wanted them to do. I was able to get quite a bit out of him, and then I turned around and had to go back and get reapprovals. So that's why the process has taken some time. You know, getting a meeting with the landlord isn't always easy. You know, I have to chase him for a couple weeks, explain to him that he's gonna ruin it for his tenant if he doesn't meet with me, you know, so we can address these issues. So.
And sorry, Ms. Birdie,
Yeah.
not to interrupt you, but the length of time it's taken is not a contention here.
Okay, all right.
We're not holding you accountable for that. That is the process. It takes time. We understand that.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else to add relative to the plan?
The handicap spaces right now are located on the north side of the building. They will be moved because that's a requirement for us. They are being moved to the southwest part of the building because that's where planning had indicated they should be. So they will be moved. That's part of the requirements. Planning will make sure they're the right size. They've done it on many different plans that I've done. They come out at the end of the time when we tell them we're ready for inspection, and they come with a tape measure, they measure, and they'll tell us if it's wrong, we have to fix it. And that's the only way we can complete our site plan.
Okay. I thank you for the additional information.
Yes.
I have No other concerns. This is in the heart of District 2, right at 12 and Ryan, and this corner has slowly been seeing improvements over time. This is going to be a major uplift, and sir, thank you for making the investment in Warren, and I wish you luck with your new venture.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Noonan.
Yeah, regarding the irrigation of the new plantings, once they get planted, and intention to keep them watered, to keep the irrigation systems going that Councilman Lafferty was discussing. Is there adequate assurance that that will happen in this case?
That's mandatory through the Planning Commission.
Right.
That we plant them, and by the way, if we don't keep them watered, we have to replace them. I mean, because the site plan says we're putting in so many red bud trees. It's to our benefit to keep them living and doing well, otherwise we have to replace them.
So we should expect that that'll happen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I rest assured, I hope that happens. Thank you. Yield.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair?
Mr. Boyke.
Question for Mr. Worth. Ms. Birdie mentioned the handicap parking spots, moving them over. With the increased capacity of the building, are you adding handicap spots, parking? Or is it going to stay as is in the plans?
No, I think they're staying as is, are we not? The not handicap, ADA spaces.
ADA, correct.
That's straight.
I'm sorry.
But what is on the plan is the required amount. So
And that's usually based on square footage and capacity, correct?
it's
Educate me,
based
I don't know.
on how many spaces are on the entire site.
Okay.
So I don't have that number in my
No,
mind, but.
fair enough, but you'll look at it. Thank you.
All right.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 11A, request of Lori Barnwell, City Treasurer, to open a money market account with Chase Bank entitled City of Warren Capital Equipment Bond Series 2026B Money Market Account, and to open a new money market account with Independent Bank entitled Water and Sewer Capital Improvement Bond Series 2026B Money Market Account. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item, 11B, C, and D have been resolved as we've been sitting here, so I would table them. Motion to table?
Support to table. Point of order. Are we tabling indefinitely?
Yes.
Okay.
The- Sure.
I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12A, legal update.
Mr. Schroeder.
Thank you. Members of council, we've been giving regular updates on the 11055 Jewett House, which we showed was a public nuisance. Court hearing is upcoming on that. And this was the Mr. Ostash and his nonprofit organization that got the house for $1. The city, through the court order, was supposed to inspect the garage. The city was not given access to the garage for 6-7 months now. The defendant in this case was essentially held in contempt of court and had to pay a fine. And I've got the check here. Received it late this afternoon, so we can give this to
Nice.
Mr.
Sorry.
Mr. Fox for the city. We'll get this to you and pass that along to Mr. Fox. So it's a $500 fine, and he's going to be fined $500 every week that this garage $500 every week that this garage is not accessed for proper inspection. Of course, we don't know what's in the garage. We showed the filthy conditions of this home to the council and the public, and there was a reaction to that because it was filthy, disgusting, and inhumane, and there were animals in there. And the house got a little bit cleaned up. It's not totally clean, it's still a nuisance. Someone came in there, we got reports they were putting stuff out at the curb, but we're wondering if all that stuff got moved in the garage. We don't know. So it's called sweeping it under the rug or sweeping it into the garage. But in any event, he's getting fined $500 a week until we get compliance. So we're working hard on that. We also have item F, 12F, is related to the new Land Bank Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. Just want to say that we're moving forward with a lot of projects with the Brownfield Authority that's working with the Land Bank and the Land Bank itself. The State Land Bank Authority has given us yet even more assistance with our consultant that they're paying for, who is now going to write a brownfield TIF plan for housing in the older part of the city to help fill these 300 vacant lots with new homes. They're going to write a brownfield TIF plan. It's something we're going to be able to take advantage of. And thanks to our land bank members, we have Mr. Fox here, Mr. Lafferty, Ms. Moore, who's chairperson of the land bank, working with the state, developing these relationships. So this stuff is moving forward, and I'm overlooking all the legal documents, and there's a lot of exciting things upcoming there. So you may not see it, but there's a lot happening, and looking forward to new development, new tax revenue for the vacant homes, over 300 vacant lots that the city owns and earns no money on, and it's actually a charge on the city. So we can talk more about that on item F. That's the update for now.
Madam Chair, I would like to mention that because of some of the exciting things we're doing with Brownfield and other things, Mr. Schroeder has been requested to actually speak at the Michigan Economic Development Association in October. So we're pretty excited about that. People are very envious of some of the things that we've been able to do so far. We don't have a lot to show for it yet, but we're putting all those sort of things in place that we need to do things in the future, and we're all pretty excited. We heard some pretty exciting things today at our meeting, so more to come later on that. Thank you, Mr. Schroeder. Motion to receive and file.
Support Lafferty.
We'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next item.
Next item is 12B, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving a moratorium on data centers. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Ms. Moore, support Dwyer. Any discussion?
I do.
Ms. McGee?
You know, I was looking at the news the other day, and they were saying that the moratoriums can be, the government can require you to have data centers, and that is up for discussion. How would that work with a moratorium?
I have to admit, if I can answer that.
And this is through the state legislature.
Yeah, I think that there's some thought that the state might be able to step in one day and sort of override local zoning or whatever and require this. I really doubt that would ever happen. The only thing I can think of that's even remotely similar, and Ms. Michaels knows all about this, because we had to live through the cell tower era, where cell towers were a really controversial item 20-some years ago. It was like the data center. It was the data center issue of the 2000s. And we would sit at these planning commission meetings, and the residents didn't like it. Certainly, one of our planning commissioners, she didn't like it at all, and she was quite a character, and she opposed every single one of them. But a federal law came into effect that basically said that communities through their zoning and planning cannot deny these things based on, junk science, because people were coming to the meeting saying that these towers are emitting radio frequency waves that's causing cancer and other illnesses and diseases, and that if you use that as a reason to deny the cell tower, then it's invalid, they can go to federal court and get it overturned. Now, you can still use your local zoning. You can say, look, this is too close to a residential property, or it's not zoned properly. You could still use your regular land use and zoning laws. I think what you may have been hearing is that somebody may try to get the federal government or the state legislature to pass a law that would take away your local control, take away your local zoning power.
Correct.
I find that very difficult in this environment. In fact, right now, there are people who, there's momentum to have the state issue a statewide moratorium on for no data centers. That's where the momentum is now. And that raises all kinds of constitutional problems for the data centers, to basically say, you're in a community, it's zoned properly, and the state's saying there's a moratorium. So there's a lot of back and forth on that. What this does is this puts a moratorium in the city of Warren on data centers until we can develop criteria in the zoning ordinance. If you open the zoning ordinance now, you can look up all kinds of things, auto washes, funeral homes, you can find any type of business. And data centers aren't in there, okay? And so the city of Warren wants to define these centers, especially the large-scale ones. We talk about hyperscale data centers that are gonna suck water and energy and create all these issues. It's not defined in the ordinance. So this gives us time as a city to develop some criteria, because right now, without this moratorium, someone could acquire a parcel of land anywhere in the city and find something similar to a data center, like, and say, I have a right to use this. You never defined it, you can't restrict me. So, and of course, a moratorium can't go on forever. We have to be earnestly working on changes. We did this with the car wash and gas station moratorium, which is currently, there's changes being made there. So once this passes, we're gonna have to work with planning and attorney's office and everybody to make sure that changes are coming. In the meantime, if Congress passes some law that tries to tie our hands, or the state legislature, we'll come back to the council and advise how that affects our moratorium. I absolutely don't see that happening, especially before this moratorium is got a 12-month life. These moratoriums can't go on for more than a year. And I also want to mention that recently, I think Gibraltar, a city in downriver area, got sued for their moratorium because they were affecting some existing applicants who had an interest in property. We've put some safeguards in here to try to prevent that litigation. So I don't think we're going to see litigation here. We've put safeguards in here. So
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I think, it sort of goes back to when there were topless bars. You can't just say, we can't have topless bars, or we can't have this. We just have to zone things appropriately so that they fit where we're going to put them, right?
that's true. You can't just ban something. You can restrict it by zoning. Topless bars was a whole other issue because the Supreme Court thought that there was some First Amendment implication to people expressing themselves. But that's a totally separate issue. And the city of Warren, frankly, solved that problem by hiring an expert 20 years ago. He came in, the city spent a lot of money, and there are now none of those places in Warren. And the one that existed is gone because they screwed up on their zoning, and they're gone. So that's exactly what we want to do with data centers, is make sure we have the best, strictest zoning ordinance that protects the community, but you can't outright ban it. You go to the zoning ordinance now, and you don't see a ban on any of these things, but this is the right way to handle it, so you're correct.
Mr. Noonan.
Yes, I see that it says on page 641 of the agenda, there's a paragraph that starts, "Therefore it is resolved," and it's talking about the definition of a data center facility, and at the bottom of the paragraph it says, but does not include server rooms incidental to a principal permitted use that occupy less than 2,500 square feet of floor area. I was wondering, I heard Madam Secretary say that there are already several data center type things, like probably GM must have, something. Are those less than 25 square feet, 2,500 square feet?
I don't know the answer to that. This isn't going to ban anything that's already existing.
Retroactively.
This isn't this is looking forward. So if there's existing facilities, this won't affect that. If they're approved, if they're already approved and permitted and have proper zoning, a data center is just a large storage facility. I mean, I could have a couple of servers in my closet at home and call it a mini data center, right? I mean, it's just where they store data. So It's not going to affect any existing use.
The mega centers that are going in around the country that have like jet turbines as backup generators and things like that, we don't have anything like that probably, as far as you know.
I haven't seen one. I don't think there is one. I think there's a lot of, we have a lot of military industrial use here. We have
Right.
General Motors, we have a lot of big industrial use. They may have some version of a data center that's been here for a long time, and it's being served. And they may not be hyperscale data centers, the kind that is drawing all the attention all over the country and all over the state of Michigan.
Right.
But, yeah, so it's hard to say. I mean, I don't,
Okay,
we're just
well-
not banning, anything that exists is not at risk here.
I mainly wanted to try to have a discussion of what we know at this point for the public, and I think most of the public doesn't know as much as we might know. So, thank you very much for that. I yield.
Thank you. Mr. Lafferty?
Mr. Schroeder pretty much answered what I was going to say. The only other aspect is data centers at GM, they may have a server room that would be 4 to 5 times the size of the room we're in right now, but it's localized and it serves the needs of that particular building. It's not something that's serving the needs of the public or other large corporations. Those are largely internal. The city of Warren has data rooms or server rooms, server closets on different floors that would be, I would imagine and assume that they would be excluded from this, and that's what Mr. Schroeder has confirmed.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I'm sorry.
I don't understand.
You can't,
If you could ban a top of the
sir, you can't talk while we're having the meeting.
Well, can you speak a little louder? Because I didn't hear what he said.
We can certainly try to speak louder, but we can't have a back and forth while we're having a meeting. Okay. I will call the question on data centers. Thank you. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12C, Council Secretary Mindy Moore, discussion and rate water bills. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. I have had several phone calls and a few emails from some residents that noticed an increase in their water bills. As of July 1st, new rates went into effect, and now people are getting those bills. And the request that I got was just explain why they saw the increase. And I did reach out to the controller's office, and the assistant controller wrote me a very comprehensive explanation that I've passed on to some of the residents that had asked me. And one of the things that was mentioned was that they weren't aware of there being a water increase and what it was based on. And we can say we had a public hearing, we discussed the budget, it's in the minutes, but quite frankly, how many people are really aware of having a budget hearing and what we do on a daily basis? Nobody waits for those minutes to come out to see how we voted in those particulars. And one of the things that I think everybody notices is there's an insert in the water bill every month. And it's, parties and events and things like that advertised. But maybe we should be putting pertinent information that residents need to know. So I would suggest maybe next month that there be maybe an insert that says, so you might have noticed your water bill has increased a bit, and this is why. And maybe it could be explained in a simple way that everyone could understand. It is complicated because there's a lot of computations, and there's charges for infrastructure and bonding and water rates and all kinds of things that go into that I certainly couldn't rattle off the top of my head. I had to reach out and get better answers. Mr. Costa knows what I'm talking about, right? So maybe we could do that. And just to follow on with not just water bills, there are other things that are coming up that people need to be reminded of. Blight issues, e-bikes the bike, mini bikes. There are certain things that are becoming a big issue for residents. We're all getting calls about them. Or drones. It'd be great if we had an insert that explains to people, we don't have any control over Amazon. We have no control over the airspace. That is the FAA. Call your congressman. Boy, that sounds like cliche. Call your congressman. But it's true. We have no say. Call Amazon if you want. I've told people if you don't like it, boycott Amazon. I don't know what the answer is if you don't like it. They don't bother me. I don't think they're that loud. I've never needed mascara that quick that I needed to have it sent by drone, but I suppose, there could be an emergency. But there are those issues that are coming up in the city, and almost everybody gets a water bill. And if we can advertise that there's a foam party or whatever, maybe we could put some information that's important for residents to know. Hey, just a reminder, you need to spray your cracks on your sidewalk. That's blight, having, just little things like that. Not inundate with people with a zillion things, but maybe focus on one thing a month so that we're getting information out there. And, I'll go back to the mini bikes. They are illegal on every street, every sidewalk in the state of Michigan. You can't use them anywhere. And it's hard to enforce. A police car can't drive down between two houses and go to parks when these kids are running away from it. But the parents need to know they are illegal. And if you're buying kids mini bikes, you're buying them something that is illegal for them to use. So we've got to get to the source of what the problem is, because we can't catch, I guess there was another down 8 Mile, hundreds of kids on mini bikes just kind of taunting the police because they can get away and you can't catch them. Maybe they can use drones now. But I'm just sort of suggesting that there's things and information we can give residents in the water bill. People don't turn on TV Warren and wait for the news. So, maybe that's a way for us to get some important information. Just a suggestion. I can't force the mayor to do something, but I think that would be a really important thing to do, and it will be helpful to residents. And we'll cut down on the calls. I don't mind taking calls, but I don't have all those answers. Dave Koss or somebody else can explain those things, and if it's in a written form, that we can tell, people and talk about the drones. We can't, somebody suggested we have a town hall on drones. We can't do anything about it. We just can't. So, anyway, it's just a suggestion, and, I hope my colleagues agree with me, but that's it.
Mr. Lafferty.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Secretary. All great suggestions. I just get the impression that the water bill insert is simply not big enough to put all of that in. But even if, one thing a month, I think they could probably, have something very important. But maybe even add a QR code where they could say, we have, where this is the highlight for the month, and we want to talk about all these other important things. Click this QR code or scan this QR code and see, the next highlight topics.
You think your 87-year-old aunt can click on a
Well, maybe
a QR
those that
code
are,
and get
those
information.
are tech savvy, but.
You got a really tech-savvy elderly aunt.
But no doubt that, maybe we can maximize, that's another way of doing it, but great idea. And the text on, I have noticed the text on those water bill inserts sometimes are really tiny. And they're really hard to read. So I think the whole insert needs to be revamped, but certainly, good quality content that's not duplicating what we have in Warren today, which has its own magazine that we said, here is for the library and for Parks and Rec to use. I just got mine. The water bill should not be a, duplication of it. So, thank you.
Mr.
Madam Chair,
Mazzarelli,
Mr. Mazzarelli.
do you want to say something?
Point, the water bill was completely, their insert was completely revamped this month. It is completely different, it is readable, it's just lines.
It is readable, but it's still just advertising, meetings with the mayor and events,
Well,
and,
it's like-
but it's not information, it's not.
It's got all the library stuff and it's got all the parks and recreation stuff, because the library and parks are the two that pay for it.
Right. Well, they have their own publication advertising everything.
Well,
But,
that was the theory back in the day, so that's the majority of the stuff that comes through. There's also community stuff that gets pushed through it. There's all kinds of.
I know, but there's,
But we
I'm not sure that residents care that much
about.
about that, but they would like to have real information.
To be honest though, none of you realize that the water insert changed, so I don't think any.
I did. I saw, it. No, he didn't. Maybe Jonathan didn't, but I did see, I knew it changed, and that's why I knew it had events. And when the mayor was having whatever those things are, down at whatever,
Just pay it.
Okay.
yeah.
We'll motion to receive and file this item.
I had,
You have a question, Ms. McGee?
no, I was suggesting that, you know, when we get our utility bills, normally when the prices, the cost, the monthly fee is, whatever it is, the bill go up, they put it in red bold on the insert. And they would say, like DTE would say, you know, notice you're getting an increase, like, you know,
Okay.
Madam Secretary said, put it on the insert, but put it in red bold print, so everyone to know that it's gonna increase.
How your bill is changing.
Good idea.
Thank-
Point of order, Madam Chair. I think a motion to approve would be more prudent to send this to the administration based on Madam Secretary's suggestions.
Sure.
You can just suggest.
So that, Ms. Moore and Mr. Lafferty, the
Yes.
original motion is good. I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12D, Council Secretary Mindy Moore, discussion, in-ray commissions. Someone,
Support.
discussion.
Discussion.
Thank you. What I really wanted to talk about are some of the ordinances concerning the commissions. And about, I think it was over 6 months ago, I brought up the beautification commission seemed to be quite out of date. And many of our ordinances have not been updated since the 60s. And we had gone through that and sent it to the beautification. I don't know if the city attorney's office. I just kind of wanted to follow up and see where that was. Because I'm working on rewriting one of the ordinances now for the Crime Commission, and a group approached me, and we're working on that. And I can probably have it done in a day or two, but I'm not sure why it's taking so long to do beautification.
Sure.
Every attorney has been assigned to address the ordinances affecting their commission. Everyone is working on it. I'll find out where it's at, but everybody did at least one draft.
Okay.
So something will be coming through.
Okay, because I'm working with a small committee that we're going to be redoing the Crime Commission. Because we've been approached to change the name, right? That it should be, the crime has a, you know, not a great connotation, that it should be Public Safety Commission. And there's some thought to add fire as well, so that the information, all the public safety goes together. And I think there's members from the fire department are gonna work, and police, and everybody's gonna have, we've got people from the, you know, Crime Commission, representatives, so we're gonna be working on that. And of course, it's gonna go to the attorneys once the lay people have it together, but,
Ms. Murphy is working.
yeah, yeah. No, this is a different group, no.
Madam Chair.
If I may, Madam Chair, council also asked about bylaws. Every attorney is working on bylaw updates for their commissions, including me. And
Now, what about, one of the ones that I was really concerned about is DDA. This is going back about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, and one of the concerns I had was the bylaw or whatever was going on the rental of the atrium, because the atrium, as I understand it, is under the purview of the DDA. The outside grounds is the Parks and Recreation. We're supposed to be coming up with some reasonable fees for those, because we've not been charging anywhere near enough. I saw someone FOIA'd some information of an event that happened at the atrium. I believe it might have been Ms. Harris. And they were charged the fee, they were charged as it was the pavilion at the park. That's how the bill came out. They were charged for a pavilion, not the atrium. So I'm a little concerned about that. There's no consistency on who's charged what, if somebody doesn't have insurance, then all of a sudden one of the commissions is sponsoring them and it becomes a city event. And these are happening in the middle of the budget years when it's something we've never heard about before, and all of a sudden there's another festival. There's another this, that. And there's just doesn't seem to be consistency in what the charges are and those things, and we've asked to see it, and we've not been provided, and it's been almost 2 years, I think, since we asked for that documentation about, we wanted to see the form, how much the atrium charge was, and all the things that go with that. That's not, yours, but I think I'll talk with some of the DDA members. The bylaws, they have not elected a chairperson of the DDA. Under their bylaws, they must elect a chairperson. There is no elected chairperson to the DDA. They never voted on a chairperson since the last term, which Mayor Fouts was the chairperson, and there's never been a vote on who the chairperson was. The DDA, the mayor is the CEO of the DDA, the same thing of every mayor is, but they're not the chairperson. You have to vote in a chairperson. As part of the they're just violating the bylaws, so.
I remember you bringing that up before, I thought that was rectified with the formal vote.
No, there's never been a vote. It's like, because people have FOIA'd it, and none exist. They've asked for that vote in the minutes, and the answer always in the FOIA is, it doesn't exist. It's denied because it doesn't exist. So that tells me, because I'm sure that whoever answers FOIA does a reasonable, diligent search for information. They don't just make up things. I've not seen that ever, so.
Jennifer Pierce did do a draft, the use facility protocol for the DDA, and that'll be going to the DDA soon, but I believe council wanted to see it too.
Well, we have to prove bylaws of all commissions.
Well, this is the bylaw, it's actually the facility use facility.
But in the bylaws give Mr. Bomarito sole and exclusive authority to decide who rents that facility, as I understand it. That's what we were told. That's why we wanted to see the bylaws that gave him that authority.
I'll give council what Jennifer Pierce put together for the facility use before it goes to DDA.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Dwyer.
Yes, just to follow up, in regards to beautification, we are in the process of finalizing the bylaws and the ordinances. We plan on having that all done at our next meeting, which is in October. So we're pretty much to the finish line with that. So.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Any other, yes.
Through the chair to Ms. Moore, you had asked about also a list of all seats, those commissioners that were assigned or appointed to those terms, the length of terms, and the expiration dates for all of those. Have you received that information yet?
I have not, and if you won't mind me adding to this, and I was going to discuss it when we did planning next, when we approved the planning. The planning expiration dates have all been changed to June 30th. Now, I don't think that is appropriate. You can't just willy-nilly say everybody's going to expire on the same day when you had, perhaps, I'm going to take ZBA, Mr. Clift is sitting here. So say you got appointed from April and to the April 3 years from then. I can't then change it and say your term expires in June now.
Can I expound a little bit if you'll?
No, I'm sorry, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
I know
But-
what happened.
But I'm talking about planning. It doesn't matter if you've exceeded it, if you're beyond your term, that term still stays the same. We have a member of the planning that their term expired in 2022. And we're appointing someone new today and not taking care of that 2022 appointment. That doesn't make any sense to me, but you can't change an expiration date if it says 3 years. You can't change it. Whether you somebody serves past their date or not, that term never changes. And I think it's probably in the Planning Enabling Act, I don't know. Maybe Mr. Schroeder will look it up before we get to planning. You got it? Okay. No, you can, yeah, please, if it's okay.
Sure.
Well, if we're just talking about planning, there's 9 planning commissioners, and there are 3 sets of terms, because the way the state law works and the ordinances is that they don't want everybody up at the same time. They stagger the terms. On the city website, there are 8 current planning commissioners listed. There's evidently a 9th vacancy. They do not list the term expiration for the vacancy. And some of this is adding up. I see 3 that expire on would be 2027? No. There's only 2 that expire in 2027. There are 2 that expire in 2029. There's one person has been sitting expired since 2022, another person since 2023, so you have a 4-year holdover and a 3-year holdover, and a vacant term where they don't disclose what the term expiration date is. There should be 3 sets of 3 terms that all expire on June 30th. So 3 a year is what the cycle is. So there needs to be some clarification here, just to make sure it's following the
Well, I don't think
terms.
it's always June.
Yes.
In planning, it's always been June?
Well,
They say that there.
the statute says that they are all expire at the same time, but they're divided into 3,
Okay,
so they're staggered.
okay. But see, that is the only one that's on the website, because I think planning went ahead and did it. Well, they're autonomous to the city. But they're the only ones that have put their actual expiration dates on. We have no idea who's on what commission, when their terms expire, or anything else. And I don't know why that's not on there. We've asked and asked and asked over and over. I think it's unfair to residents for them not to know what openings are there. ZBA is there because we had it put on. That's our commission that we appoint to. So, I don't know. It's just a mess. It's been a mess since day one. We have commissions that nobody's going to appoint. We have 2 commissions that there's not 1 appointment.
And
3.
And we, go ahead, Mr. Lafferty, and then we'll make a motion.
yeah, and I can bring this up at the item 13A, but the other concern I have is, and we should all be concerned with this, is that we cannot appoint somebody to a seat that hasn't been vacated unless we're reappointing them. I don't understand how, if the appointments that are coming over are to replace a person, let's say somebody will not be continuing in that role, if they haven't resigned their seat, they're still in there, and if we confirm an appointment to planning, suddenly a 10th planning commissioner shows up at the stage, and they have nowhere to sit because they haven't been told that their seat has been replaced. Their seat hasn't vacated. So I have an issue with that I don't know for 13A if they are taking a seat that has been vacated or if it is a vacant seat. And I don't know if there's anybody here tonight that'll be able to tell us that. So, thank you.
Thank you. What motion do you want for this, Ms. Moore?
Not sure. Receive and file.
Okay. So, Ms. Moore, a motion, Mr. Lafferty, have you a support? I will call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12E, reappointment of William Clift, Sean Lindsay, and Gary Watts to the Zoning Board of Appeals with term expirations of September 2029. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
With discussion.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you to the members that are here. We appreciate everything you do. I know it's a tough job, and you take a lot of heat sometimes. You are forward-facing with residents and developers and city departments, and I know it's not easy. You have a lot of properties to go and check out. You have to go in person to see, what's going on, and I really do appreciate all you do, and keep up the good work.
Any other discussion? Okay, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Brogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12F, request of the Land Bank Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for approval of their bylaws as adopted July 28, 2026. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
I have one about 8.2. I'll tell you what page it's on in a second. I think. Let's see. No, okay, what page is it on? I'm scrolling.
About contracts under financial matters?
652.
It's on page 652? Yeah, on page 652. So, it's not clear to me that a situation couldn't occur in which the chairperson is acting on just their own authority without any checks or balance? Is that possible? Can you explain, Jeff, if through the chair to Jeff, could you please explain to me the checks and balances in the land bank to make sure that there isn't, it doesn't seem like the land bank is really coming back on a lot of their decisions to the city council?
So to answer that, the land bank shouldn't be doing that. The land bank is an independent authority under state law, authorized by the intergovernmental agreement that this council authorized with the
Right.
state land bank authority.
Right,
It's an independent authority now.
okay,
They do not come back here for decisions. The
Right.
only thing that has to come back, now, this is the Brownfield Authority
Right.
that works with the land bank, is that the bylaws have to be approved by the council. So their bylaws need to be approved, but the other decisions will not. They will act as an independent authority here. With respect to checks and balances, this says the board of directors may authorize someone, for example, the chairperson may need to sign a contract, right, on behalf of the authority. Since this is an independent authority, the mayor would not be signing contracts. So for the city, the mayor is the chief executive officer and signs
Right.
contracts. For the land bank and the land bank brownfield authority, the authority itself would pass a resolution authorizing the chairperson to execute a contract or to sign a check or to do something on behalf, because there's no day-to-day CEO of the authority. So this is really what we call delegated authority. And the chairperson would not be able to just go out and, do things without board approval, if that's your question.
okay, so, it has to be like voted on, as we do with, a majority of the land bank authority?
Yes.
Okay, and, the controller of the city is a voting member?
The controller of the city is a voting member and also a fiscal agent, the fiscal agent for both the Brownfield, Land Bank Brownfield, and the Land Bank Authority.
Okay, well, thank you for reassuring me on this point.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, for instance, Mr. Noonan, I can issue a subpoena as Secretary of the Council, but I can't do that on my own. I can only do that when this board, by a majority, gives me that authority. So I can't just issue a subpoena. It's the same thing.
Okay,
But, question. So the board made the decision of who the chair, should be the chair of the land bank, the Brownstown?
Yes.
Okay. That's all.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
yes,
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Brogan C is yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13A, request to approve Vince Birdie to the Planning Commission with the term expiration of June 30th, 2027. So moved.
Support Lafferty. Discussion.
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Given my comments under 12D, that we don't know what seat this is being appointed to, whether or not it's vacant or being vacated, I'm going to make a motion to table. to the next meeting, September 8th.
Support.
I think the next meeting's the 15th.
I think it's the 8th, isn't it?
I just
It's the
checked.
second Tuesday.
I know, I just
Or is
checked
it,
yesterday. It's the 15th.
Couldn't be. Can't be.
Labor Day falls on the 8th?
Yeah, it's the 15th.
Oh, because we have Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend. Okay. I will revise my motion to table to September 15th.
Ms. Moore, I can't talk on a tabling motion. Ms. Moore, you supported?
Yes.
I will call the question. This is a motion to table. Mr. Lafferty?
Yes to table.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes?
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes to table.
Rogan C is yes. Next item.
Next item is 13B, request of the Police Department to approve a one-time grant for the Emergency Dispatch Center in the amount of $900,000. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Rogan C is yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is audience participation for general items.
I see there's a couple new folks in the audience, so just, we'll give everyone a heads up. This is for general items only. You have 3 minutes. I will give you a 1-minute countdown. If you're holding an audience forum, now is the last call to get them in. You can put them in the basket. Ms. Camp will grab them. Sure, if you'd like to speak during general, yeah. Yep. I think that is my, yeah, all the things I needed to say. Okay, first up is Lori Harris. After Lori Harris is Vanita Palmer.
I have a couple comments to make. Readily achievable is a phrase used for ADA. So when Karen Birdie said, or they have 2 years to make the parking spaces ADA compliant, that's wrong. Readily achievable means easily accomplishable and able to be carried out without much difficulty or expense. To explain readily achievable in the simplest terms, businesses must comply with the ADA if they have the resources to do so. So I think it's really not fair if you've had it on writing for 2 years at least, that those spots needed to be adjusted, that is something they could do to be in compliance. So that's a little education. I also wanted to talk about the use of the atrium, and I plan on filing more FOIAs because I'd love to know what the different groups have been charged, not just the atrium, also outside, because I understand that there's going to be 3 days of a group coming in at like September 12th for school supplies and vendors and things like that. So that's a lot of time in front of City Hall, and I'd like to know how this is being handled. And just as an off-the-wall kind of topic, wouldn't it be great if we had a choir in Warren? It would be so lovely if we could have a choir. So if anybody's interested, I would love to sing. We could, get a lot of people together from all different walks of life and have a choir. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is Vanita Palmer. After Vanita Palmer is Edwin Worley. 3 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Board, members of the City of Warren, and guests. I just wanted to take today's 3 minutes to say a great deal of thank you to you as a board, and to Mr. Lafferty, and to Mr. Schroeder. I'm glad to see, Mr. Schroeder, that you have a resolution in the works for your blight issue. my current issue at the 14155 address on Elger Street is still a work in progress. But on that note, it is still a work in progress. Today's conversation with Mr. Mazzarelli and with Mr. Campbell was quite successful at this point. Being that I had the conversation with Mr. Campbell and explained my 7-year itch, at least I got part of it out, until I let him know that I was the porcelain princess who had the toilet that I had to put on my side Oh, you're that lady. I said, oh, Mr. Douglas, now you know me after 7 years. Thank you for your attention. So I got 4 years of my blight complaint out to Mr. Campbell. Out of the 7 years I've been fighting my battle for this blight issue with my neighbor. I said, it's a shame that she makes a fool out of you, and she makes a fool out of me, and she's making a fool out of this city every time she comes in here and tells you how her neck hurts and how she's handicapped. And I have video after video after video, picture after picture, 748 to this day, in 7 years, that I can prove that this woman is making a fool out of all of us. Mr. Campbell has requested out of me, and I promised him that my porcelain princess toilet bowl for my kind neighbor would be moved upon the issues of her cleaning her area.
1 minute.
Would be dealt with at any gear. He asked for a 48-hour notice. My second thing is I want to thank you, Mr. Lafferty, for taking the time out last week to have 5-10 minutes with me out in the lobby to explain a few of the processes in this city. Mr. Mazzarelli, I want to thank you for moving the earth for me to get this 7-year itch somewhat resolved. And with that said, in my last of my 3 minutes, this, out of 7 years, Mr. Mazzarelli, was the first time I actually read my insert in my water bill.
Thank you. Next up is Edwin Worley. After Edwin is Pamela Rogers.
Yeah, last time I had a problem, I was up here about the senior housing. I was fraudulently accused of something. I challenged you all to come down to the Housing Commission meeting, if y'all remember. He promptly canceled it. How convenient. Who is our representative, our district representative? Will you identify yourself? I live at the, okay. I'd like you to be present at every single housing commission, and I'd like you to put pressure on him to stop canceling, because this is not the first time, okay? My other question is, how come Stellantis is getting a tax abatement? They didn't live up to their agreement. They were supposed to create jobs. They eliminated 1,000 jobs. Can somebody explain how they got away with that? I'd really like to know that.
It's not a two-way conversation during this. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay, can you address it next time I come in?
No, you still have 3 minutes.
You voted for it. You're the only one on this council member that voted for it, aren't you? Am I correct?
Sir,
Am I correct?
I have no idea what you're talking about. You have 3 minutes.
You're ignoring my questions. I'm asking you a question, you're ignoring my questions. So you're ignoring the citizens that has the questions and want explanations when you're supposed to be serving us and explaining stuff to us. That don't sound right to me. You say you can ban a topless bar, but you can't ban a data center. Well, if the citizens want it banned, it should be banned, right?
1 minute, sir.
But nobody's going to respond. Do you have any office hours, or can I talk to you after the? I want to talk to you out in the hallway because you do represent me, and you should be working for our best interests. And sometimes I don't know how giving somebody a $12 million tax abatement, and when they renege on their promises, is it working in our best interests? I'd like that explained.
Thank you. Next is Pamela Rogers. You have 3 minutes.
I'm here to bring to the attention the city council that I live over at Continental Community Homes. I don't know who runs this company. I don't know who I'm paying my rent to. I don't even know what's happening. All I know is we had a couple of workers that come in there and they destroyed most of the abandoned houses. We have trees falling down. We have the skirts being removed. They're telling us, we even got a bogus letter telling us that Hanover Management was supposed to be coming in and start taking payments from us. Then we get a text message from Shapiro stating that we should send our rent the regular way we've been paying, which is online. We never see anybody. Nobody's the manager at the office. Nobody comes out. They're destroying the roadways, whatever these crates are that they came in to do scrapping for metal. They destroyed the driveways. There's glass everywhere. Now, we still have maybe 5 to 7 residents there. I own my home. My cousin owns her home. It's maybe 2 renters there. But this property is looking so scary. We got people coming off of 8 Mile coming scrapping. We don't even know who they are. We just feel like something has to be done where we don't feel endangered. Because at this point, I pull out my car, I don't know if I'm gonna have flat tires. Somebody done broke into the house 2 houses down where it's wide open. Whatever they're getting out of them, they're getting it. We haven't seen the workers in like 3 weeks. Our garbage day has changed until Monday, when it was regularly Tuesday. We didn't get a notification of that either. Now, I'm not for sure how that works, but when they're tearing down these trailers and one spring a leak and the water spraying all over the place, we don't know if that affects our water bill or anything. All I know is we just want something to be told to us, because we were trying to see if they were going to offer us something for our homes where we can even just relocate. Because right now, my grandkids don't even want to visit. It looks just that scary. And because it's off of 8 Mile.
30 seconds.
By the Suez Motel, it's pretty scary. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Anthony Jordan. And after Mr. Jordan is Mr. Cliff. Go ahead, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, as a resident of the Continental Community Housing, I have several complaints. She touched on some. I will touch on others. The lighting is non-existent.
Thank you.
Yeah. It looks, it's not only is it dark, it's scary with all those abandoned trailers and vacant lots. It looks like you don't want to be caught there after dark. You really don't. But my main concern is about what form of compensation will they receive when they move? I mean, they're literally being forced out. They own their mobile homes. Will they cover the cost of moving is one thing in particular, because it's expensive to move. Will they help with the relocation? Because not everybody accepts people with, how can I put it, less than adequate credit or income. I hope I phrased that right. Will they find a new residency for them? Because it's limited based on your income. It's hard to find some place that you can afford. Will they cover first month rent and security deposit? Because they own these homes. You know, to leave your home and go try to find an apartment is difficult. And I hope that they will adequately compensate these people, because this are their homes. They live there. And now they're being forced out and don't know where to go. Don't know where to go. They're going to turn them into homeless individuals. What will the compensation be? It's scary. It's scary. What's going to happen? You don't know. You're living in limbo. Okay, I'm gonna make it even shorter than that. I just want something done. We need to know what's gonna happen. Right now, nothing is being said, nothing is being done. People have to move and don't know when they're gonna be forced to move or how they're gonna move. It is scary. And then the residents, it's scary. There's no lighting. I already touched on that, and I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Something needs to be done, quick, fast, and in a hurry. People need to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is William Cliff.
First, I want to say thank you, and I want to congratulate my colleague Gary and Mr. Lindsay for their reappointments on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I don't know if you guys know, but I serve as vice chair on that body, assistant secretary the term before. We've seen a lot of improvement and a lot of change on that board in the time that I've been there, since my first term of appointment. Members are asking questions, we're calling people to task, we're demanding explanations. Sometimes, admittedly, we may go a little overboard and veer into the lane that we don't really belong in, but I want you guys to understand wholeheartedly that we do that because of our care and commitment to the city of Warren. For too long, that body and that entity was just a rubber stamp, and anybody did whatever they wanted to do. You hardly heard a no come out of anybody there. And with some of our more recent training, and it's up to us to train ourselves in most facets. I'd like to see more training tossed our way, maybe set up or put together by the city, a little more interaction between some of the bodies, some of the other commissions relevant to what it is that we're doing, so that we can, and even working a little closer with you, so we can kind of understand where we're at and where we're going, and instead of standing at a podium and making a plea or having to talk into a microphone at that meeting, that some good, solid, intelligent, concise ideas can be brought forward for consideration. Our ordinances are horribly archaic. And I heard tonight several things happening on that front, and I'm pleased to hear that. Bylaws, these council and commission expiration fiasco. I got a phone call a couple years ago wanting to know
1 minute.
when was my term up, because the people in the main office, City Hall, had no clue or no idea. They said they weren't privy to that information by the outgoing administration. It's horrible. Chairman, vice chairman, take care of your people, look things up, make notes, put it in a book so that we're not confused and we're not scrambling at the end of the day at the last minute to either submit or apply for reappointments, or so we can make the conscious decision to leave if we need to leave, to make room for somebody else, so that you guys have
30
enough
seconds.
reaction time to find appointees to appoint into those positions. That's all I had to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Zachary Matt, I believe, and then after Zachary is Gloria Sanker. 3 minutes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Zachary. I'm a 27-year-old male living in the Warren Woods area. First, I would like to address Melody McGee, Angela, and Henry. I really appreciate you guys being on the forward front of the city community and understanding what our desires are. I'm actually here to speak on the same thing that a lot of people here are talking about. This is the lack of an active ability from you guys as a council. Mindy Moore, Gary Bjoke, David Dower, and Jonathan, unfortunately, you guys made the decision to continue with the block safety program that most Michiganders, and including the citizens of Warren, do not want. The $132,000 that you guys had put forward for the 2-year contract could be put forward towards things like lights for city roads, finishing of certain walk safety acts that have been passed already, different fundamental logistics and infrastructure that could be used in Warren, our updated bus seats, our locations that don't have access to the routes that are needed for some of our citizens to get around. It just, though, continues to be a front for the most part. I don't see a face on here that truthfully I feel represents the general demographic of Warren, nor understands the actual strife that Warren is facing in the day-to-day in the affordability crisis. Now, this 2-year contract that you guys voted on July 14th was quite truthfully just a continuation. And I know there is no questions to be asked here, but it would be feasible to me if someone could answer my question on how to add agendas to the docket. I would like to ask, at least in a public forum, of who has communicated with Flock personally, who has had meetings on the side, and who has NDAs with Flock at this moment. While that might not be public information and that might be private dealings between all of you, that is something that I feel like needs to be included in all city council communications, is transparency.
1 minute.
Thank you. No, I actually don't have any other time or any other comments or concerns about that today, though I will say, Gary Bioki, I really appreciate you being a part of our district, because I hope with your actions and decision that we will see a turn in our future for District 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Gloria Sanker.
Good evening. Every generation has to protect America. We're not perfect, but neither is anybody else. Michigan is facing a socialist on the November ballot, and what was never concern is now a festering problem. We are talking about a radical change in the Democratic Party since they approved socialists to run in their party. Changes include making abortion legal through all 9 months of pregnancy, allowing men in women's sports and locker rooms, allows sanctuary cities to protect convicted criminals, gay rights are more important than national prayer, not necessary to show identification for voting, and reopen our borders to illegal immigrants, many who are criminals. They want to end police protection and close jails. This is the slate of beliefs for the new Socialist Democratic Party. The Bible says if you have ears, you ought to hear. The Democratic Party has left common sense out in their radical beliefs. Don't cling to something that no longer represents your beliefs. This November election is probably one of the most important because it could, 1, change how you live, and 2, what protections you have. Socialism is alive on the voting ballot for the office of United States Senator. A U.S. Senator makes and shapes laws. In other words, they have power to make changes in your lifestyle. We just celebrated 250 years of freedom, but socialism can change all that. When good people don't vote, socialism can happen, and the American dream, no more.
1 minute.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is the end of audience. Next item.
Council response to audience.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Lafferty.
I have a response to the individuals, I believe, Ms. McGee, in your district, in the Continental, through the chair to Mr. Worth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is I remember the developer came to us. We had to rezone that property behind Suez Motel. And during the Planning Commission meeting, the petitioners should have had a communication plan and with all of the residents that would have been affected or displaced by that. Is that not, apparently that is not taking place. And I know that it's not necessarily under whose authority would it fall as responsibility to ensure that those conditions of their planning commission, their site plan approval, that those are taking place. I don't know if that's through the city attorney's office, through your office.
Well, let me respond here. They did not, they received a a general standard rezoning with a concept plan that indicated what might be developed there. And that's what you get with the standard rezoning, might be. At this point, they also talked about when they get ready to do that, that's when they take care of displacement. But remember, there was no agreement at all. No site plan approval was ever brought forth. So we have a rezoning, we have land that's rezoned, but we don't have any plans from anyone. We don't hear from Shapiro. I've had talks with the councilwoman there. Nothing from those people. And what I indicated to the councilwoman was that I was going to research the file and see if there's any kind of timing involved that we can work with. I actually don't think there is, but I'll look at it real close, go forward with that. Everything that I've been told is literally horrifying, in my estimation. I haven't been there. I don't want to go there with an inch of glass that's on the ground because my tires won't take it. I guess I'd have to walk through. And maybe I'll do that with some of my staff. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. I know that David back there is well aware of this problem also, and we're all being on notice, so to speak, to do something. But I wish there was more I could tell you. If that had been a rezoning with conditions, then you get more. And you could hold them to an agreement. You can hold them to timing. You can hold them to all sorts of things. And that works out quite well.
So,
and just a little tip here. We will bring to the city, to the council, a reversion of one of those conditional rezonings, probably in the next month or so, and because things weren't done. They didn't meet the agreement, and they've also notified us this particular one. I'm not going to go any farther who, and they've indicated we're not going to do what we said we're going to do.
all right.
And so we'll bring it to you. What that does is change the zone back to the original zoning. We start over with that property.
All right.
Here, we didn't get that, unfortunately. So we'll try to work in a different direction.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Worth. Madam Chair, you've had probably, more experience with mobile home communities with your experience with the Landmark. Thank you. I know that there are other parties here that can probably assist, but I'm open. I'd like to open some sort of line of discussion here that we've got to take action to protect the health and welfare of our citizens.
Yeah, and Jeff can talk about it, but the only tool that we really have is to declare it a nuisance, any of these parks, because the legislation is just not there. So that's really the only tool that we've really been able to come up with.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, just because it's a mobile home park, and we know that the city has its hands tied by state law on what can be done in mobile homes. They have a very strong presence in our state government. We are currently in litigation right now with a park that doesn't want to comply, and we're moving toward a good resolution on that. In the meantime, I do think that this could possibly qualify as a public nuisance, the way what I'm hearing here. Just because they're a mobile home park doesn't mean they're not creating public nuisance conditions. But I don't think the council can, based on just some statements tonight, declare it a public nuisance. I think that if Mr. Mazzarelli and all the inspectors that work for him are willing to go and generate some reports, and those reports show a public nuisance condition, that council can then declare a public nuisance and a court action can be taken, but those reports would have to basically indicate that, and I think Mr. Mazzarelli may have something to add to that now, I don't know, but I do think that actually council could make a motion tonight to move in that direction, not declare it a public nuisance, but move and ask for those things if, you know, you might want to get Mr. Mazzarelli's input on that, but I do think it could qualify. What I'm hearing here is classic public nuisance.
Yeah.
Mr. Mazzarelli said you're working in that direction, yeah, so I think we could make that motion if we.
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion to direct the building department, public service to create a
file.
Yeah. And the one thing I did want to mention is I wonder if the Department of Health and Human Services could offer any help to the residents. Maybe that's somewhere we could reach out and, who have you tried through?
Can I speak?
Yeah.
Can I speak regarding this?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that she's going to the right people, because maybe we can help with that. I've got some contacts that maybe I'll work on that.
Ms. McGee, go ahead.
Okay. Of course, as you stated on before, Councilman Lafferty, that's, in my area of 8 Mile. I have walked it through with them to make sure, and I've taken photos and submitted those photos to Dave Mazzarelli and the rest of them. It is a horrible area. What they're asking for is not just to be compensated, but really communicated. There's no proper communication here. I was there when they said that they were gonna rezone. There was a company there. That company stated that out loud that they would assist, because that was my request, that they would assist with moving expenses if they decide to move. There were several people moved out of their mobile home thinking that something new was coming in, and now we're saying it's not happening, more than likely. So their whole mobile home location has been torn up, including the street. And now they're getting letters from different companies saying, we're in charge. You can partially pay rent now. You can do this. They're not understanding. There's no communication. There's no meetings. And they want some information. They want some feedback. And I had called Dave Mazzarelli. He has communicated to both I and Councilman Hal Newman, who received calls also, what their steps are moving forward. But in the meantime, they're in limbo. They can't leave their homes. They're being vandalized. They're breaking in their homes while they're there and they're disabled. Human trafficking is going on. I was over, I walked the area, I walked through the area, drove through the area. This is a problem.
So what I heard Mr. Worth say is because it was a standard rezoning, they're not bound to do any of those things. The property's been rezoned. Now it's a problem of trying to build a file to try to declare a public nuisance. And unfortunately, with mobile homes, there's virtually nothing we can do, unfortunately, beyond declare a nuisance, write them tickets. The law just doesn't exist, unfortunately. So it's a super unfortunate situation. As all of you know, I've been fighting the mobile home folks for years at this point. And it's just, it's a very unfortunate situation, so.
We have a motion.
Sorry, Ms. Moore, you had a motion?
Yep.
Support,
Motion to
Mr. Noonan?
do the groundwork.
Build a file.
Yeah.
I will call the question, Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. That item passes. Any other council response? Okay, next item.
Motion to adjourn.
Support Dwyer.
All in favor?
Aye.